In this episode, we're talking about cult rituals, magic mushrooms, and punk rock. This and more on Indie Game Arcade. Hey, welcome back to Indie Game Arcade, a podcast that deep dives into the latest and greatest indie games. I'm your RPG genius. My name's Chris.
And I'm your devoted disciple, Joseph.
Hey, you have no idea how worried I was about slipping up saying RPG genius because, I was practicing all these tongue twisters right before we started recording just to make sure I don't screw it up. So I just want to pat myself on the back real quick for getting that in one take. Getting it in one.
That's one of those things you have to slow down as you're saying it to separate the syllables because they will easily run together.
Yeah. And now I feel like I can say anything. I can say anything I want, Joseph. No one can stop me.
You're setting yourself up for failure.
Oh, yeah. I can do anything I want. Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers. I feel alive. Okay. Hey, let's talk about indie games, though. We played a lot of indie games this week, which I feel like every week we're like, hey, we played a lot this week, and then we keep upping the ante every week. So
I don't know how it happens. Yeah. And I never have time for it, and then it just ends up happening. Like, oh, yeah, I guess I did play a lot, but it didn't feel like I did.
Like, oh man, I don't have time this week. And then by the time we record, it's like, oh my God, I played like 9. How did this happen?
I think it's kind of like we play so many games so often that I'm kind of on autopilot with some of them where I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot that I played that even though it was yesterday.
Yeah, I think yesterday I played like 5 or 6, in just one day.
I played 2 in the last 2 hours.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's wild.
Well, hey, let's get started with our first one here, which is Lovish. This is developed by Labworks, published by Dongan Entertainment. Our pals, they send me updates every time they have a new game coming out, and I love getting those updates, so thank you so much. This is such a cool little 8-bit action precision platformer kind of homage to those old style Game Boy kind of advanced games, but these bite-sized little levels. So it's not like a side scroller kind of thing. It's all self-contained in just one screen, and then going through doors and stuff and just trying to figure out how to get from where you are to the next door and not screwing that up as you do that. But it was really, really fun. I really enjoyed this one.
Am I the bad guy in this? This feels this feels wrong.
Yeah. So the premise of it, which I think is kind of funny, is this princess gets kidnapped, and you and your friends are heading to this dungeon to go save her, but then you're kind of hey, what if she falls in love with one of my friends? So then you ditch all your friends and you're like, nah, she's gonna fall in love with me. This is my girl. And you go in, you're playing as Sir Solomon to free Princess Suna.
Well, your task in the prologue is to get this video helmet, and that will ensure in your mind that she falls in love with you. So it's your entire task is not necessarily to save her from the good of your heart or anything. It's just to get her to fall in love with you.
It's to ensure she has to fall in love with you.
Yeah.
Basically, I think it's funny though, because I love that idea, that meta commentary on the adventure game kind of thing, going all the way back to Mario going for the princess in the castle, or Link going for Zelda, or anything like that. And the idea of the hero just in any media really expecting, they have to love me because I rescued them sort of thing. And, just playing with that a little bit. I like that.
It's the whole idea of Mario in his initial games of the princess is in another castle kind of thing. And then when you reach her, doesn't she kiss you at the end or something?
Yeah, you get a kiss at the end.
Yeah, it's that goal of getting the princess's kiss, winning over the heart of a damsel in distress. And the comedy on top of this was a big surprise to me, and is just such like a fun commentary on this type of game in general. Like in between scenes, it'll have something you see in a lot of games like this where it's like, let's say you find like a piece of meat on the ground. It's going to be like, you find meat on the ground. What do? Eat it? Don't eat it. And then you eat it because that's what you do in these games. And it's like, you eat the meat, you feel sick. And then it shows like a scene of you running to the bathroom. So it's like a lot of little things like that. The goofy things that you take for granted in these games because it's just part of them. And it's really like diving deep into like how weird some of this stuff is. And I really appreciated that.
Some of them get like really ridiculous too. Like I think one of my favorite one is just such a troll thing. And it was like the first one I got was just like, you find a treasure chest and it's just empty and that's all it says. It's like, it's empty. And then you just move on. It's like, oh, dang. All right, fine. Yeah. And then, but there's one, and I don't remember, because I died like right after it happened, but like, there's one that was just like, you can now attack upwards. And I was like, oh, can I? And then I didn't get to chest it out because I immediately died.
You will die in like one hit. So you just have to be really like precise about like what you're doing. And every one of these like mini levels also, there are like little like crowns you can get that are like bonus items. And I think those add up and like give you something eventually. I don't know. In the demo, they didn't really do anything. It was just like kind of a track of like an achievement of, cool, I got all the crowns. So I'm assuming they do earn you something though in the full game. The demo is maybe like 10 to 15 levels or something. I think there's like 50 plus. It's a short overall game, I hear, maybe about like 2-ish hours. But that's just to go through the whole game. That doesn't involve you getting all the crowns and whatever other hidden items there are. So I think like for the quality of game you're getting and for the price, it is definitely worth the buy because it just is a really fun experience and really like treated with a lot of care. And the sprite work in this is fantastic. The little chibis are hilarious.
So good.
Yeah. So that alone would sell me on it.
So Sir Solomon himself too, he appears in another game from Labworks. So this is almost kind of like it's not like a sequel, but it's sort of like a successor of sorts to another game called Astalon or Ostalon, I guess, Tears of the Earth, which is like somewhat similar, but it has a little bit more of a...
Oh, it looks a lot more serious.
Yeah, it's more of a Castlevania-ish style thing in a way, but like there's still sort of chibi and stuff. However, like the play style is you were playing like 3 different characters in a Lost Vikings kind of way. And I think that's really cool.
So are they like assisting each other to do things? Because that would be Lost Vikings to me. This almost would be more like
this one's more like, this one's more like you have like the 3 different characters and they have different like abilities and attributes and stuff. And they level up and stuff. And actually, like, it's like the more you die, the stronger you get, which is really interesting to me. But it's basically like you will leave them at like your bonfire, go like do something as like one of the characters and then come back and get the next character to go complete, other stuff that you couldn't do as that last character to solve the puzzles and stuff. So it's a little bit like that, and it uses items and stuff a lot like Zelda and things like that. Very, very cool, and it has like really good boss designs and backgrounds and stuff that are like super intricate.
Yeah, the game it made me think of was Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, which is a 2D side-scroller, definitely inspired by Castlevania games. So
yeah, a little bit
I guess ultimately it's all Castlevania.
Yeah, it's all basically Castlevania inspired. But like I would, if you like this one, Lovish, I would definitely check that one out too, since it's by the same people and it's got some of the same kind of there is still like humor and stuff in it, just not nearly as pronounced humor like this. This one, like Lovish, is way more silly.
I wonder if their character in one of their first games, Castle in the Darkness, is also Sir Solomon, because it looks kind of like
Could
him.
be. I also know that a mangaka actually designed the characters.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Some of the characters were designed by that.
Yeah,
that
I was
individual.
trying to remember his name. Gosh, I can't remember. But he made something like a manga called, it was like Dragon something. Oh, I wish I could remember. I did like a whole thing on this. Like I made a video about this like not that long ago.
I think it's like
honestly.
Ryusuke Mita from Dragon Half.
Dragon Half, that's what it was. Yes.
I know this because I literally just read it.
Yeah, very, very fun, honestly. And a lot of like the levels and stuff, you're going to see a lot of homage and even like the menus and stuff to classic like Mario and Zelda games and stuff. I think more Mario than anything else.
Well, yeah, that overworld map for sure.
Oh, easy. Yeah. Well, and then some of the levels too, like look a lot like Mario 2, which is really cool. So yeah, it's very fun.
Yeah, this is going on my buy list for sure. I love just the idea of it, the experience, and just also the fact that it's like just a small package of a game. It just gives me joy because of how many games I have that I need to play that are just so long. And that's great, but I don't have the time to play them. This one, though, 2 hours, that sounds beautiful to me.
Yeah, you need those like small commitments so that you can actually finish something, especially us.
Yeah.
But I want to move into our next game that also has a very, very good retro feel. And this is called Tearscape. And this one is basically like Bloodborne meets OG Legend of Zelda. It's really cool, man. I got to say, I know I'm not usually a Souls-like dude, but I think this might be my favorite one so far.
I started playing this today and I got so like engrossed in it that I played through the entire demo of it, which wasn't like super long, but it was like almost an hour and a half, which for a demo is pretty good. And that includes like beating the final, well, not the final boss of the demo, beating a boss, which after you beat him, it's just like, hey, if you played this far, it must mean you enjoyed the demo. So thanks for playing. Yeah,
so
which is
good.
awesome.
Yeah, it feels so good.
It feels really interesting in a way that it's like, yes, I'm playing a game that was reminding me a ton of Link to the Past specifically, just because that's the one I had played the most of these types of games, especially like the way that the holes in the floor looked like those had the little spikes come out of it. It's like, oh, dude, I know I'm going to die if I go in that because Zelda taught me that. And also the trees were very similar. There's a lot of it that was reminding me of that, but this one is like a little bit lower poly than that in the sense that like, or at least the color palette is more simple than Link to the Past. But the gameplay is interesting and you're moving in a way that you're not expecting sometimes. You still swing really slowly, and if you just move normally, it feels very much like a Link to the Past. But then once you start throwing dodges in there and things like that, that's when you're like, okay, now I can actually move around in a way that feels a little bit more, that I have a little bit more freedom and it's not super blocky and, taking me back completely to 16-bit type movement in that type of game. So you have more freedom there, but you still have to be very precise about where you're moving, especially with some of these enemies. There's one enemy that was really annoying to me that was the guys with the shields, where you have to hit them once to make them bring their shield up. And then you kind of have to like dodge around to the side of them and then stab them while they have their shield up, because otherwise they'll just keep putting their shield up every time you try to hit them. And that sounds simple, but in the way that the movement works in this game, it became like a challenge that I had to sort of like figure out how to overcome as I was going through. It's like, okay, if I dodge around like right at the last second and then I wait a second, then it'll give me time to turn myself and hit correctly. Because if I try to do it too fast, then I'm just going to swing in the wrong direction. So that was like, it took some getting used to, but it's one of those things like once I did get used to it, I was able to beat the boss on the first try and I felt really comfortable with the movement. And especially once you get the shield, which happens later in the demo, that's you can start actually like deflecting things and parrying attacks and things like that, which, I love my parrying. So it's like that always is my bread and butter when it comes to games like this. I had a really good time with it. This is one that I will definitely be playing more of. And I'm really excited to see, like, I guess what depth it goes to.
Yeah, it seems like there's going to be quite a bit to it. It really does feel like a Souls-like version of a Zelda game because you're getting a ton of different items. There's a variety of weapons. Like you will have like not only different types of swords and stuff that you can get, but you can get like guns, you know, other things like spells and stuff, and like unique items like rings and things like that to change up the gameplay. And
yeah,
I think
you're equipping relics and things. Yeah.
And it has a co-op mode too that I actually didn't know until I just now went to the Steam page. And I was like, oh, it says co-op. Yeah, which is really cool too. Like that's something I wouldn't have expected, and that just makes it even cooler, honestly. This was kind of a nice surprise because as someone who's like Souls-like, you know, Souls-like is not my genre, but Zelda games are my genre. I love Zelda games. And this one just feels like such a good combination of both. It doesn't feel nearly as punishing as others. And at least so far, you know, I'm gonna cross my fingers. I'm gonna find something wood and try to knock on it in a little bit. So I might eat those words later, but so far it's just been like a lot of fun.
So the part that really makes it feel Souls-like-ish to me is you do have your healing potions that you recharge at your bonfire equivalent, which are these like angel statues.
And your tears.
Things do respawn when you rest at the statue. Luckily, you can level up at the statue without things respawning, which I wish Souls-like games did, because it's annoying when you have to go there just to level up and it still respawns everything. But that's a whole nother story. This doesn't do that, so I liked that about it. And also the way that you are applying stats to different things as you level up. It's very simple. It's only like 5 different things you can apply to, like health, strength, stamina, and then skill, I think. So maybe 4 things. So it's pretty straightforward, but it's important that you pay attention to what you're leveling up. Like I just went mostly all strength, and I gave myself a little bit more health because you are very, very squishy at the start, big time. For sure. But also I can overcome squishiness if I can just kill things before they can hit me. So that's why I went mostly strength. But you know, that's up to the player to decide how they want to distribute that. The weapon choices that you get in the demo were like your starting sword, which is kind of a medium speed swing and medium power. So that's your balanced sword. You get a dagger that makes it, it's faster but weaker. And then you get this like almost whip thing, this like flail that like shoots outward. That's really strong, but it's incredibly slow. So you have to be super precise with it, but it has a really good range to it. So I love that nothing felt like, okay, this is obviously the best weapon, period. It was like all situational, and I had to keep switching around. And honestly, I couldn't decide whether I wanted to use the D-pad or the control stick when I was moving around, because I was like, which one feels better? Because it's like, if it was just a Zelda-like, then I'd be using a control pad. But because I have more range of motion when I'm dodging around, it's like, well, maybe the or maybe the joystick feels better. So I still don't know, even after playing the whole thing, which one I would actually stick with.
Yeah, I went just joystick. It just felt more natural to me. Even though, like, I could totally see if someone wants to, like, feel a little bit like a purist, you know, go D-pad. Why not? Do it.
It's worth it.
I do want to, real quick, shout out the developer of this, which is Nerds Takeover, because that's such a good name.
I love that.
Yeah. Developed and published by that team. So, well done, folks. That's a really, really good, what a great mashup and fantastic game.
Looking at their Steam page, it looks like the only game they've made, so potentially their first game ever, which if so, bravo.
Yeah, looking forward to more from this team for sure. Let's move into our next game real quick. Underboard, a tactical team building roguelike auto battler with like a tiny bit of deck building in there, just a little bit of influence there, where you are essentially plopped down in this like creepy forest and you pick a class and then start like going around the map, and you start picking up like spell cards to add to your arsenal, recruiting more characters to your party. And then when you go into battle, it is almost like not quite like a turn-based grid sort of thing, but you are somewhat on a grid just to start the match. So you kind of place where your characters are going to go, and then you go full auto battle. But you do have like quite a bit of agency within that, especially if you have spell cards and stuff at your disposal. So you are pretty active throughout the game and everything, which I really, really appreciate. It's very, very interesting. I really love the artwork of it all. And some of it, I don't know about you, but some of it was giving me a little bit of Binding of Isaac sort of feel to it. Especially my first run was like an all babies run. I was just nothing but babies, and it was cracking me up.
I don't know about Binding of Isaac necessarily, but the babies thing, those babies are powerful.
Yeah, man.
One of the babies is like, I didn't ever level up any of the babies to 3. My party didn't consist of enough babies to do that.
2 of them
to warrant that.
That got to 3. Yeah.
When we say getting to level 3, so the way that leveling works is you have to use these separate items you're getting from battles to level up to usually 2, and that's where it maxes out until you beat a boss, and that's when you get an item that will level one character up to 3. So you have to kind of decide who your main either tank or damage or DPS or whatever is, so that you can kind of figure out what best serves your party. And the babies are cool, but they just were never in a spot where it's like, all right, you're the obvious 3.
One thing I do like about it too is like the synergies between characters. So if, like whenever you get or recruit a character, they usually come with like 2 specialties, whether it's like attack and let's say the other one's like accuracy or something. If you recruit another character that has, let's say, enhanced accuracy, then you're going to like overall get like an extra stat boost for that. That's really cool. I really like that. So then you're sort of like coming up with a bit of a build, but based on the party and how you're like recruiting and everything. So that's really fun. I like that a lot.
What's important about that too is your stats don't apply to all characters, only the characters that have that particular stat. And you'll see like how the stats, like what they do every so many levels. Like some of them like immediately start serving a purpose at level 1. Some of them takes 3 levels of it to even start doing anything. And obviously it's more powerful stuff. And so like it benefits you to start stacking those stats because that's when you really get the most out of it. And I appreciated that they don't really do much like incrementally, but once they are stacking, that's when it's like, okay, now I can see where this like health or this like endurance is actually serving me and my party. So it really helps to start forming your build around that. And there's a lot of items that you're picking up if you're doing like elite battles that help you to modify either what stats your party has. Like sometimes it'll be like, okay, do you want to re-roll your party or whatever member of your party's weakest stat into something else? And so then it's like a random thing of like, okay, I might get a good stat that my party needs, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of ways to affect how your party is working together. And the auto battle portion of it is, you know, you don't really have a lot of agency in it until you start bringing spells into it, like you were saying. And that's when you can start actually affecting the battle instead of just watching your people either sweep them or die immediately. Like sometimes you'd be like, oh man, if you're on a boss fight especially, like there are times where it's like, man, I positioned it so badly. I need to completely switch this up or move them to the bottom instead of the tops, things like that. And that's where it's really cool seeing everything working together though. And then you throw like your healers and like shielders in there. Like one of the babies like is a shielder who like adds shield to your party. And the nurse is a healer who will, after so much time, just heal your party. So there's just so much in there, and we're only scratching the surface of it because we just played the demo. But I enjoyed even just the demo so much that I played at least 3 times through. I didn't beat like a single run of it, but I got to like I think there's 3 areas in it, and I got to the 3rd area, but I could not beat the 3rd area. I was like, I'm just not powerful enough yet. But it made me learn along the way, like how to better modify my party for future runs.
Especially because like those bosses can be very brutal. If you aren't being like really clever with your party building and stuff, yeah, you're going to fall apart pretty quick. I like too how the health, like the HP and stuff is handled. So it's like you have, like, as a player, you have a thing of HP, right? If all your guys die, it's not necessarily that your run is over, like, right there. Like, they will resurrect and you can try it again. And when they resurrect, that's what detracts from your HP. And I think that that's a really clever system. That it gives you more of a fighting chance when you do encounter those extremely brutal fights.
Yeah. And it's kind of allowing you to decide in part, like, how many retries you actually have. Because there are some items that will, or some cards that will, like, give you as a player more health. And so it's like, okay, instead of 100, I have 120 now. So that will probably give me at least one more retry should I need it.
Exactly.
And you regain that health, like, between battles too, as you're going through. And I think there's probably other ways to regain your own player health as well. But yeah, I thought that was a cool system also. The relics are really neat too, like, as you're getting items, because they are, it'll just be like random things like a baseball bat or whatever, but it's like all of them affect some kind of either stat or just have some really nice effect that you can put onto one of your individual characters. You can run across a blacksmith that can improve or even combine some of those items too. So there's a lot to play around with. And this is just like the demo of it. So I'm hoping there's just a lot more to be found in the full game, because the demo alone had me really entertained.
You'll find out real soon as it goes live, because you'll be happy to know the developer sent us a copy. So we have.
Oh my gosh. I love that.
That's what I played. I played the full copy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was just playing the demo. I had no idea, man. Well, okay. Then, my comments were not sponsored because I didn't even know that they sent us anything. So that's great.
Yeah. So big thank you to Graham from Headless for sending us a copy of this. This was like so much fun. Very excited to keep playing more of this. This is another one of those where it's like, I like having those, there's like certain games that just live on that Steam Deck and they will never go away. And this is going to be another one that adds to it. I might have to get another SIM card, like a higher SIM card at some point, because I've been adding a lot to it this past year.
I just love these like really crunchy kind of auto battler games where it's like, I just have to make sure I build a really good party and watch them just go at it. And it just feels really good to see them just kind of sweep over things, but also the amount of variety you have with all these different kind of weird characters, like you said, a baby build. And it's something that's like, it's a joke at first, but then you're like, okay, now I see how my baby can use his burn damage to affect these things. And you start to really think about it on a technical level, even though it's a ridiculous concept. Like one of the dudes is like a weed smoking hippie. There's just, it's all just like, there's fun flavor to all of it, but the gameplay itself is really solid in a way that entertains me specifically.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic game. Let's talk about some more like goofy characters and get into Hermit and Pig.
Oh, yes.
Hermit and Pig was developed and published by Heavy Lunch Studio, and this is a turn-based RPG where you are playing as this old hermit who's like living out in the forest, and he has like a lot of really bad social anxiety and just does not really want to go into town, does not really want to like, be part of like the town or world anymore. And he hangs out with his pig, who is like dressed up just like him with their little stocking caps and their glasses, which is adorable. And he really spends his time looking for mushrooms and hanging out, but he kind of ends up getting embroiled in some things which are very interesting, and he ends up having to fight a lot of bugs and save a little girl and possibly a journalist. So yeah, it's very, very funny, very goofy. And the turn-based system is really interesting and unique. And it's not like just a straight up JRPG kind of system. Like there's inputs for like the attacks and stuff, which is crazy.
Yeah, it was very like, oh gosh. I'm trying to think of like a comparable game to this where it's not your typical turn-based. It's like
almost like a fighting game when you have to like put in a specific combo to pull off a move. You're like doing that.
Oh, Undertale. That's the game I was trying to think of.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like, it's on the tip of my tongue, but the combat is like that where it's like unique sort of, it maybe not to the specific thing where it's like different every time or anything like that, but there's just like unique things you have to do and interact with in order to like affect this combat. you as the hermit have different sort of like moves you can do, like kick, punch, slap, things like that. And you have to figure out like what each enemy is weak to. Usually when it comes to like bugs, it's like, all right, I'm just going to stick to stomp unless it's a flying bug, then I'll slap them out of the sky or something. Doesn't always work, but it was worth a shot. The skunk almost like took me out. That was hard. I didn't know what to do, but you have to poke him with a stick, or at least that's what was most effective when I, or with my cane, I was having to poke him with that. And then it's like, you don't have to have these on, but it defaults to button combo or like arrow combos where it's like, you know, up, down, left, right, things like that. I like to keep it on just because I like the interactivity of it, but I could see how it would be really challenging to remember all those combos. I did have to go back to the book a lot and be like, all right, what was my slap again?
Yeah, I had to write them down. I had to write the combos down so I could like look over real quick and do that. Yeah.
Because like you're on a timer as well. Yeah. So it's like there's the pressure of the timer. I can't just like look at my leisure. And what I really liked that was really, really indicative of the hermit's social anxiety was that conversations are combat also in a way.
Yeah, you take cringe damage. That's so good.
Yeah, he's nervous talking to people, and you're on a timer, and you get like 3 dialogue options, and it's like which dialogue option makes the most sense. I learned this by saying something to a little girl's like, "I'll protect you because you look small and weak." And I was just doing it because it sounded funny, but then that hurt me because it was like
cringy.
It was a cringe thing to say to her. I'm trying to remember exactly what it said, but at the end of like one of those conversations, it was like basically the equivalent of like, you know, when a waitress tells you like enjoy your food and you say you too or something. It's things like that where it's like you're getting those answers sprinkled in there, and if you say that, obviously that's an awkward cringe answer and you'll take damage from it. And I thought that was a really fun ad.
I love that too. As somebody that has social anxiety like crazy, oh man, did that stuff hit home so hard. Like one of my favorites that I do actually remember was like when, I don't remember what all 3 choices were, but like one of them was like no problem. And the other one was just problem.
Problem.
Yeah.
Oh,
God,
yeah. That's the one I was trying to remember. It made me laugh so much. It was like no problem, or oh god, it was like no something. I can't remember what it was, but it's like obviously those other 2 were the awkward answers. But when you do have social anxiety, like the 2 of us do, like that's something that does go through your head as the Rolodex of words are trying to form.
Yeah, or like accidentally like forming 2 words together and saying something that doesn't even exist. That's something that happens to me a lot.
Yeah, weird things. Just it's like you know it's wrong and you can feel it that it's wrong the moment you say it, but you're trying to just like break the awkward silence and you make it more awkward by saying something stupid. Like that's what this feels like.
Yeah, exactly.
It is combat for all of us, so I get it.
I gotta say, like, I love the design of everything. And honestly, this is a game that feels very Earthbound inspired based on like the visuals and stuff, especially like of the backgrounds, the town, the forest and everything. Like it just feels very inspired by that. And I think that really shows in the gameplay a little bit as well. For the most part, though, it's such a unique experience. We would be remiss, too, if we didn't mention the magic mushrooms that you can eat out in the forest. Oh man.
Yeah,
you do go on some trips.
A pretty big part in the story in a fun way, at least how the demo ended, which I won't spoil, but like that definitely plays a big role.
I do like, too, that your pig does truffle hunting.
Yes. When you see like an exclamation point pop up above the pig's head, like he's found a truffle, you can have him dig it up, and those are like Phoenix Downs, basically. They revive you or other individuals. Yeah.
So you are collecting a lot of stuff, you are battling a lot of stuff, and the battles, like you said, are not just, you know, enemies, they are social conversations, or even like trying to open a gate, like you go to battle with the gate.
Yeah.
There's also lots of mini games and stuff. There's obviously like a really interesting story going on. that is very much about sort of like the exploitation of a small town by conglomerates and billionaires and things, and having to kind of be the reluctant hero in that sort of thing, even when you have social anxiety, because you're the only one that really, knows how to do anything at this point, because everybody else is too relied on the things that are now too expensive and too used up. It's really interesting. I really love the story, the social commentary it has, and just everything about it. The designs, the art, the humor. Every goddamn game we played so far has just been great.
This is a great week for games. And the turn-based combat in this, like, specifically was something that I wasn't sure, if it was going to be like your typical turn-based, but there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like, I didn't know if that's what I was getting into until I started playing it. And there's interactions that they don't necessarily even tell you, like, what specifically you would benefit you to do. Like, there was one where I fought a dead tree and 2 bugs, and I was like, that tree's not even doing anything. Like, why is it there? So I decided to like break the tree, and what that did is it made the tree fall over and kill the bugs. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That's why that tree was there, just as like an item to, or just as something to like trip over and kill both those bugs instead of me having to individually do it. So there's a lot of like little things like that. There was one that had like a piece of poop in it, and the poop was just like healing or shielding the other thing. So it's like, well, I got to kick that poop.
You have to destroy
that thing out of here.
Yeah. The only thing you could do was like stomp it, which sucks. It's so good.
What a fun game.
It is such a fun game. Go check those games out. All of them. All of them.
Every single one.
Every single one. Hey, if you're enjoying this episode so far, do us a favor and throw us a like, a follow, share the episode of the podcast with folks who love indie games so we can get more of these game recommendations out there and support indie game devs. We also have our YouTube channel at youtube.com/nerdsloth, where you can catch us playing more indie games, or check out our top 5 and top 10 series for even more indie game recommendations, because we believe there is an indie game out there for everyone. We just gave you 4, so go do it.
Get ready!
Let's talk about some other indie games we've been playing this week. Starting, I really, really want to hear your thoughts on Cult of the Lamb Woolhaven, my friend.
Oh, yes. I
finally got in there.
I finally got in there because I restarted my playthrough of Cult of the Lamb in general, as I was talking about last week, I think. And I played through all of that and a lot of the subsequent things after that came with other DLC. And then I finally felt comfortable enough to go into Woolhaven because I had done enough with the other stuff. And that is like almost twice the size of the original game, it feels like, because there's just huge. So much there. And now that I've beaten Woolhaven, at least the base game of it, there's more to do after that. And I'm like, oh my God, it just never ends. And
it's a cult, bro.
So
you can't get out.
It truly is. I'm stuck here forever. But it adds just so many like really cool sort of interactions with different sort of like, well, this different god that comes in, and it adds like snow and like cold and blizzards and things to it that you have to manage while you're doing everything else. It adds this whole blight system that you have to deal with on the adventuring side, and a ton of new enemies, a cool new weapon type, which is like I think it's called the flail. And that thing's really fun to use. There are legendary weapons now that you can get and pick up. There are so many different cult members. There are finally like dinosaur cult members, and that's awesome. I just like got a T-Rex, or no, I had a T-Rex. I just got a Triceratops team member. I have one of my team members now who, from a different expansion, I think the Sin expansion, the one where you can like breed your cultist. I now have like a holy, I don't even know what his whole thing is. I just hatched his baby, and I couldn't do anything. I couldn't interact with him, but he started floating around, and he just like blesses the other cult members as he passes them and makes them happier. So I don't know if he's just going to do that forever, if he's ever going to grow up. But there's just so much going on in this game now that it's absurd, but I feel like I am completely in tune with it. Oh, you can also make little stables now and have like herds of animals in it, or like stables of animals. Like you start with like llamas. No, not llamas. You start with like goats or something. Then also, oh yeah, yaks you start with, then llamas. Then you get like a cow or a bull. And then you get weird things like a turtle, bugs of different sorts. So it's like weird things, but they can all just give resources to you. Specifically, you want the yak and the llama because those are the biggest ones who like produce wool. And wool is such an important currency in this expansion that you're going to want to stock up on as much of that as you can.
Yeah.
Ooh, there's just so much to this game. And I cannot recommend it enough if you like the original game, but haven't played any of the expansions. I'm telling you, it is a whole new experience now because I did play the original game and I did beat it and I liked it, but this is just like a completely new thing now with completely new systems and yeah, just a ton of fun.
I loved the original game, so I'm very excited to do that because I have not jumped back in yet. I have it downloaded, haven't jumped back in.
Yeah, you'll get stuck in there. It is so fun, and you're gonna start. Luckily, there are things that can keep certain cult members alive like forever, like immortal. But you can also resurrect them if you have the right sort of rituals too. So I don't know. There's a lot here. Big recommend on this one.
And also, if you want to join our cult, we do have a Cult of the Sloth, like some Cult of the Sloth merch available on our store.
Oh, yeah. That was our thing back when we were first playing it.
Yeah, I actually have like the sticker on my laptop. So like nice. Everywhere I go, that's like the thing everyone sees is our little Cult of the Sloth.
Sloth
creature.
Haven.
So yeah, Sloth Haven. I'm going to talk about Heaven Does Not Respond. This is a psychological horror game that is coming out or just came out. It's one of those games that is like my bread and butter as far as like the type of game. It's like one of those media exploration games, sort of like The Root Trees Are Dead or Her Story. And in this one, like you are tasked with, you're some sort of like investigator. Somebody's disappeared. You are trying to debug like a bunch of corrupted files from their like phone or not their phone, but like a camera that's like attached to this computer because this is like, I think back in the 90s or something. And stuff keeps like weird anomalies keep happening and stuff. And you have to actually like open up the terminal and debug things through the terminal and stuff a lot. But the one thing that I don't quite understand about the game is like the amount of paranormal stuff versus like it being supposed to be like an AI thing that's like causing everything. As much as I enjoy the kind of genre and stuff, I was sort of getting mixed signals on like what really is like the story here, if that makes any sense. One thing I do like though is that whenever you get like a video working, because some of the stuff that you're doing is trying to restore these video files so you can see what's on them and try to figure out like what's happened to this person. And then it goes from like interfacing with this like desktop and internet, like this fake internet kind of thing, to a very realistic looking, 3D sort of version of the game where you were kind of like walking, doing like walking sim kind of thing, like within the video, like you are the person in the video. And I really like that stark contrast between the two. So that part of it I really like. I just feel like I don't understand where the game is going for the story. But I'm interested. I need to know where it's going. I just don't know.
Yeah, I do like the UI of it all, where it is just like mocking like an older desktop, like definitely an older version of Windows. It says like a 2005 timeline. It looks even older than that, the desktop, but maybe I'm just misremembering 20 years ago.
Yeah, there's sort of like a version of AIM in a way. It's like called something else, but like that's in there. And like, man, some of the websites are like total GeoCities looking things, and it's fantastic as far as that goes.
Yeah,
really interesting. I mean, I love this genre a lot. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick with this one or not, but I'm interested. So I might. We'll see. This was developed and published by Rise Studios, by the way. So go check it out for yourself and see what you think. Kind of reminds me of like, in a way, like if folks are into things like the Lancaster leak, maybe this will be something for you.
I don't know what that is, but I trust you.
Trust me. Hey, let's move on to We Gotta Go. This was one that you and Callie played together, and it's like you're trying not to shit yourself, right?
Yeah. Your goal, like as the name suggests, you gotta go. Like you gotta go to the bathroom. You're in a haunted house and there's only one bathroom that is locked. You have to find the key. And that's really the objective in this game, is like fighting off ghosts and other like creatures as you try to find the key to the bathroom to take a shit. And the comedy is all right there. And the characters just look hilarious as is. It's got the sort of like a mouth movement as you're talking, so you can see their mouths moving as your team's talking to you, which I love that. That makes it just even funnier. And then just everything is happening while you're doing this is great. When your character like dies from being, just having too much shit, basically, or when your shit meter goes down and you shit yourself, you just turn into shit, and you are just jumping around as like a piece of poo until you either find a skeleton that you can just inhabit and like take over a new body, or until one of your friends picks you up and carries you over to a skeleton, depending on where you are and like where the dead bodies are that you can take over. We had so much fun with this. We were laughing the whole time. Where it's like, babe, I'm about to shit myself. Like where you start to get so serious about it. It's like, I got to find a body. Throw me in a body. And then like all while that's happening, these ghosts and things are chasing you. The house is like in a very like Amityville Horror kind of way. Like the house is angry and it'll show you how irritated the house is. And that's where the ghosts really start coming out in waves. And on your left side of your screen, your UI is literally your colon. You can see like it's filling up with
poop.
Your poop meter is going down, and the green that shows up is your fart meter.
Yeah,
that you have to get out, or else you will just be like, you won't be able to even move anymore until you like release that gas. So there's so much fun to it. There's items you're picking up along the way, and that's how you're either defending yourself or, healing yourself, or by healing yourself, it's usually like you find some medicine or whatever sort of pills that will help you like stop it'll just like limit your poop meter or like bring that up more and things like that.
Yeah.
We won on our first run, which like, as I was looking at reviews of this game, like people are saying like it's too hard, doesn't explain anything. It's like, a lot of it's very intuitive. It's confusing at first, but like we just figured it out as we went and still were able to beat our first run of it. And like we don't play this type of game very often. So I feel like if we were able to do that and just intuit a lot of it, then it's already got a lot of that figured out. And I would ignore the negative reviews, especially for a demo of one level, and just try it for yourself. Play it with friends, definitely, because that is just where the fun really is.
Yeah, it looks like it'd be a lot of fun. And I am extremely impressed with the animation style and how fluid all of that looks. It's like somewhat of like that cell shaded sort of look. Man, it just looks so clean, so good. And like you said, with that mouth movement, that looks absolutely hilarious. I love that is actually mapped to your voices.
Yeah, it's like, think about if you liked playing the game Repo, for anyone who did play that or is still playing that, because it's still a relatively new game. It's similar energy to that, but yeah, like instead of the 3D graphics, it's definitely more cell shaded. And I like the way that this one looks more so, even though Repo is a fun game. I enjoy the way this one looks and flows better. But this is just a demo of the first level, so who knows how the full game's going to be.
Yeah, it looks like a ton of fun.
Truly is.
Real quick, I want to talk about Dead Pets, a punk rock slice of life sim. This is one that I was bringing up last week that I was really excited for, and it was really cool. It's got tons of mini games galore, but the big thing that I have to say, fantastic soundtrack. Like really, really good. Like this is my kind of music, man. I got so into this. kind of in the way that I really loved Unbeatable, even though the gameplay just didn't match the spirit of the or the quality of what the music was for Unbeatable. I feel like this one matches a little bit more. The rhythm section of this game is a lot like Unbeatable, where you were sort of timing the beats to like do attacks and stuff, and also like having to not only do match the attack coming right at you, but you also have to do like a jump attack too, and like go back and forth between that. It's a lot cleaner in that way, whereas like when I was playing Unbeatable, I felt like I was having a hard time like clocking things sometimes. This one's way cleaner, way smoother. That's not to say that it's a better game or anything. It's just a very different style of game. This is the one that also looks very much like an Adult Swim style design or animation. You compared it kind of to Ugly Americans.
Yes. I was trying to remember, but thank you. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, and I would say that sort of mixed with, there's another show I was thinking of, Tuca and Birdie. I think like those combined, that's sort of like what you're looking at a little bit. I do gotta say though, man, does it can be kind of gross sometimes. The very first mini game, and I'm gonna say real quick, very bold decision, triple topping games for this. The very first mini game or thing that you do when you finally get in control of your character, Gordy, is like, I was like, okay, I can move around. I'm going to walk to the bathroom, and because I see something I can click on, the very first thing you can do is wash her dildo, which is so disgusting looking. It is covered with so many different colors of crust and gunk and hair, and it is so gross. I was like, oh.
I love that they introduce that as like the first thing you're doing, so exactly what you're getting yourself into. So it's like, if you can handle this, like this is the tone we're going to be dealing with.
Oh my God,
that.
yeah.
The art is just so good. I don't usually play like visual novels at all, but man, I might play this one just for the art alone.
This is the one, man. I think you'll get into it. The story is really fun. It's got a really good energy to it. The music is fantastic. The humor is really good, and it's just kick ass.
I saw a mini game in one of the trailers just now of someone like flossing their teeth.
Yeah.
But in like, it's just something really gross in there. Is all bloody and stuff. Oh, this just looks like the right kind of like weird and gross to me that I'll have a really good time with it.
I also love, there's so much homage to punk bands and stuff like that. Like you'll see a lot of stuff, even if you just look at their t-shirts and stuff, you're going to see homage to Black Flag and Fugazi and Misfits and all kinds of stuff. It's like peppered throughout the entire thing. And that's just a lot of fun, man. I absolutely adore this thing. And I would say definitely, if you are squeamish, not the game for you. Definitely not. But if you like punk rock, if you like visual novels, and if you like rhythm games, this is one to check out. If you were like the Adult Swim kind of crowd, go for it, man.
Dead Pets, man.
Dead
so
Pets.
Cool.
Let's go to our final game, and it's actually another DLC, kind of like Cult of the Lamb. This is Monster Train 2, Destiny of the Railforged.
Oh, man.
So I played a little bit of it today. I don't know how expansive it is. I just played enough so I could try out the 2 new clans. And man, I really, really like the new clans a lot.
Which one did you favor more?
What are they called? The engineering kind of guys?
I guess, are they the real? I honestly don't know the names of them. I know the Railforged.
The Railforged ones, yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because the other ones are the like
Wormkins.
Wormkins, yeah. So
I'm terrible with the Wormkins.
The hard part about this game, just in general, is that you have to play like dual parties or dual clans together, and that's where it's like trying to find out like who has the best synergies. And when you're playing like these new classes, I just played both of them at the same time, and I was like, I don't know if they are going to synergize well for me.
No, it was bad.
But I really like the idea behind both of them. So it's just finding like a good match, a good pairing for them both that I think will be what really helps me like push it along, or like figure out like which one fits my style better. But I like that you get that new mode also, the Soul Savior mode. That's really the bread and butter of this expansion, in my opinion. Because, you could play through like the story with these guys as well, with these clans. But the Soul Savior mode is like basically a roguelike mode on top of an already roguelike mode that's not connected directly to the story. Or I guess it is, but it's a different style of game that's like you're adding different sort of bonuses as you go through it. And it's sort of just like a quicker sort of sort of like a speed round of the main game where you're going through these different segments and like shorter segments leading up to bosses. And those are getting progressively harder and harder. I didn't beat the couple of Soul Savior like runs that I tried, but I was unlocking more like relics or whatever they're called that you apply to your soul runs, and those will give you some kind of like huge benefits. So it's a lot to play around with. And I just really enjoyed both the new classes. This is stuff, and it's like, it does cost, like it is it's not a free expansion is what I was trying to say. So it's $10 though. And if you like Monster Train, like I love Monster Train and Monster Train 2. So this was like an easy like spend for me, but just like know that it is a paid DLC, but totally worth it if you like this game at all.
Yeah, I mean, Monster Train 2 is in both of our top games of 2025, if that tells you anything. So yeah, man, I'm very excited to play some more of this. I didn't even get to try that mode yet. So I like the idea though that you're like with the idea and the kind of joke right now that like every indie game right now is basically a roguelike version of something else. And this one's like a roguelike version of a roguelike.
Yeah. It is. It's very like meta in that way. It's oh God, what is that stupid movie?
You tell me.
The dream within a dream thing.
Oh, Inception. Inception,
thank you. I was like, completely slipped my mind. Yeah, it's very Inception-like in that way.
That's great.
Final round!
All right, let's do our final round. Just a few more indie games or other things that we want to talk about really, really quick before we get out of here. I've just got one that I want to bring up real quick. This is called Dating and Dragons. This is a D&D inspired dating sim. I think I brought it up previously when it was first announced, but the Kickstarter for it is live right now. And I'll be honest, I have a little bit of a vested interest in this game. So I really want to give it as much support as we can. It's already reached its main funding goal in 3 days. And now it's like blasting through those stretch goals. And like the more they achieve, the more amazing things they're going to get to add to the game, like voiceover, extra quests and dungeons, and just make the game bigger and bigger. And the perks from the donating are really, really cool. Like getting, a copy of the game, to getting a copy of the art book, getting a plushie, or for the really, really high tiers, getting to create an NPC and having like creative input in the actual finished product itself, which is super sweet. Again, that's Dating and Dragons. To describe it's very much akin to like Monster Prom or Date Everything, but way more on that like Monster Prom kind of side. So if like that's a game that you really enjoyed or you like that style of game, then this is the kind of game that you're going to want to check out.
But with more of a D&D or fantasy spin on it.
Absolutely, yeah. They've got a lot of really cool characters. More stuff's going to keep getting added as like they get more like stretch goals and stuff. But yeah. Oh man, it is like a game made for folks like you and me because one, we love Monster Prom and like those like really silly style dating sims and stuff. Two, we are big D&D nerds. You couldn't have made a better game for us. I feel like we've even like goofed off like talking about making a game like this before.
Someone beat us to it.
I know, we got beat.
Well, I'm excited to play it too.
If you are interested in that, I'm going to leave a link in the show notes. And you can also head over to our Blue Sky because there's already a post on our profile over there that you can check out too. So very, very excited for this game.
The one that I wanted to bring up real quick is coming out soon, tomorrow, it looks like, Carmageddon Rogue Shift, which is...
Oh yeah, Carmageddon.
The Carmageddon series has existed. I haven't ever played a Carmageddon game, but this is a complete reboot of it and an update, obviously. And it's a roguelike game, but you are in cars combating other cars. So basically, like, the Twisted Metal that I wish that I had that I haven't in many, many years. That's what this feels like. And it just looks super fun. You're like running down zombies while trying to get first place in these other matches, while also trying to take out other like armed vehicles with your like crazy armed vehicle that you're customizing as you go through it. And so if you're a fan of any kind of like vehicular combat games in a post-apocalyptic world or in any kind of like weird twisted world, I think this will be right up your alley too. I know it's going to be up mine, so I'm excited to play it.
That's good. I love the subtitle Rogue Shift. That's
Yes.
clever,
and it makes sense.
Game over.
Hey, if you had a good time listening to this episode, stick around for the bumper to learn how you can help support the show and all the things we do here at Nerd Sloth Creative. You can also check our show notes for our link tree, which will take you to our social media, Discord, merch store, all the other cool things. But get in touch with us and let us know what indie games you're playing and help us elevate these games so we can help support these indie game devs. That's game over for us. My name's Chris.
I'm Joseph.
And we'll continue on the next episode.
Continue.
Indie Game Arcade is recorded and produced by Nerd Sloth Creative. If you're looking for more gaming content, head over to youtube.com/nerdsloth for indie game let's plays and recommendations. If you'd like to support the show, head over to patreon.com/nerdsloth, where you can select a pledge and receive access to hundreds of hours of bonus content from everything at Nerd Sloth Creative. If you're an indie game developer and would like us to review your game or explore other opportunities, send an email to nerdslothcreative@gmail.com with the subject line Indie Game Arcade. Thanks for listening, and keep supporting indie game devs.